Welcome. I am going to talk about dimensioning objects and shapes in SketchUp, as well as taking measurements. So first off, let's get rid of Mr. Milky here. He's okay. He just went fishing. And we're going to create a shape. What a lot of people make a mistake with is that they create something and then they just assume that it is a certain value. Until you dimension something, it is just abstract, right? I mean, it doesn't, you can't just magically make something a certain size because you think it. It's not how reality works. So let's just randomly draw out a rectangular shape. Before I click anywhere else, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click in this dimension area. And I'm going to say 10 feet. So the feet and the inches tick marks are next to the enter button. Actually, this was in metrics. This is a metric template, but anyway, I'm going to do feet because that's what people struggle with. You can also do mm or cm, to signify centimeters, millimeters. M is meters. 10 feet, comma, 10 feet. So that's going to make it a square. 10 foot by 10 foot square after I hit enter. So again, I just put it, I randomly placed it using a rectangular shape. And then I click down here. I didn't click anywhere else. If you do that first, you'll mess it up. So I click immediately in the dimensions area and I gave it 10 tick marks, very important. The way it knows it's feet. And then comma, 10 foot, enter, and then it made it a square. So if I do that, if I say 10, shift to make it inches, comma, 10 inches, enter. As you can see, that's significantly smaller because 10 inches is a lot smaller than 10 feet. Duh. 10 feet, comma, 10 feet, enter. Width and length. So now we're going to use the push-pull tool and we're going to give it our third dimension. So let's make it a cube. So I'm going to do that again, just randomly. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you could look at it. As you can see, it's in meters because that's the template that I'm using. But you can override it. I'm going to say 10 feet, enter. And so I'm going to use my orbit tool here. Now we have a cube. As you saw, it's in meters. You can use the metric system. I prefer to use the metric system when I'm working in CAD and things of that sort because it's just easier to break down 10 base numbers and do the math. But you do whatever you choose, you feel you need to do. Some people don't want to do conversions. They're afraid of them like the plague. If that's the case, then you can use it. That's the good thing about SketchUp is it's flexible on that front. So this tape measure is another thing I wanted to show you. On the Getting Started toolbar, you see the tape measure tool. If you click on a point or an edge, and that will create a point, and then you go to the other edge and you click on it, it will give you the size of that, the length of that object. Now this is where it gets tricky because I'm using a metric system template, so it's saying 3.05 meters, which you will have to do some conversion if you aren't certain of what that value is. We know what the value is because we entered it in, but that's where it's different. So when you're going and choosing your template, when you start up SketchUp, let me show you real quick. Then choose inches, meters, whichever one you want to use. You can actually even have centimeters and millimeters. So you can get very specific